Incredible. Power 102 Digital.
Good morning, neighbors. It is Thursday, the 16th day of November, second half of the month. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Of course, it's the Hours show this morning. We just heard from Paul Richards with our news brief. We'll hear from Evie at 7 o'clock for major news. We'll hear from Richard Raghubar Singh. We got Ruben, who's not washing his car this morning. My name is Steve Khan. All right. Let's get straight into the meat of the matter. Let's see what's happening on the highways and on the byways. The roads are wet, so please take your time. Santa Rosa, heading westbound. You got some traffic there approaching Piarco Lights, Trin City towards UE, and then Cura volume towards El Scoro, and then you'll pick up your traffic in Port of Spain by Swim Call. All right, Automobile beginning to build. Kelly Village beginning to build. Let's head down south, make our way up north. I got nothing ready to tell you out in the Southland. Lucky people get a blade up there. Freeport towards Sugargonas. Yeah, a bit sticky. A lot of red lights. And then from Charlieville, heading straight towards the interchange, you've got some traffic there. All right, let's check the weather, see what's happening. Had a downpour this morning about 4:30. That was a downpour. It is 26 degrees at Piarco International Airport Fair and 25 at Crown Point in Tobago. Let's see what the weather is going to be like for today. Let's see if the Met Office has updated their weather. They have. So here we go. Partly cloudy and breezy with occasional showers. There's a medium 40% chance of the isolated thunderstorm activity. Showers are expected to linger over a few areas this evening. Gusty winds and street flash likely in the event of heavy downpours. All right. It is 3 degrees in Toronto and Clare. Miami, you're windy and 22 degrees. And of course, all schools in Broward County are closed today because of the weather that they got yesterday. A lot of flash flooding up there. 21, cloudy in Orlando. New York, you're clear at 7. I'll tell you, Formula One is in Las Vegas this weekend. It's 12 degrees and partly cloudy in Las Vegas. Atlanta, 12 and cloudy. London, 7 with a drizzle. Tampa, cloudy and 20. Washington, D.C., 5 and clear. Our listener out in L.A. is 15 and cloudy. All right, so that's some weather and traffic for you. Let's see who sent us hellos first thing this morning. I'm going to start with Facebook and one YouTube. Trinity in Boston, good morning to you. Ray out in West Palm Beach, Florida, morning. Oliver and Warren, Carol, Joseph, Wendy and James. Marcia Rock, good morning. Renu Halasi out in Tampa. DJ Ray. Wayne B out in Covington, Georgia. Carol Guevara, good morning to you. It's a wet one, that's right. Dennis Passad, good morning to you. And let's check WhatsApp. We've got Michael out in London, England. Good morning to you. Chris Toussaint in Washington, D.C. Oliver Man Warren, good morning to you all. Of course, you can send us a message via WhatsApp at 3181021. Good morning to you, Paul Richards. What's happening?
Morning, Steve. Good morning, everyone.
Morning to you, my friend. Am I sounding nasal? It sounds that way.
A bit.
Yeah. Mrs. R, good morning. You're up early.
She's dragging that blanket over her. Anyway, she didn't go today. Don't go to work today.
I don't know if you were up at 4:30 when that pouring rain came down.
Yes, I was. It was very heavy.
It was extremely heavy. I was thinking about my bed, but
I don't have any plans to wet. I'm very happy.
No, I haven't watered plants in a long time. Someone says morning, so good morning to you. Pearl Cordis, good morning to you as well, enjoying the weather. Yeah, please take your time on the roads, please.
Yeah, you all need to be careful on those roads.
Yeah, use that thing called an indicator. And folks, when you're driving this heavy rain, Do not put on your hazard lights. Do not. Hazard is a hazard. Yeah. All right. So what's happening? What's happening?
Well, another hack at the
Yeah.
Southwest Regional Health Authority
I don't
on
know
October
what's going on.
23rd. Well, we ended
What 2030 is that?
yeah, October 23rd. But they understood the assignment and were very transparent about it and took the necessary actions.
Wow. It's like everything is being.
I heard somebody came to work and saw a letter and a check on their desk.
Mm-hmm. A big check, I'm sure. Huge.
Quite a big check. Quite a big
Huge
check.
check.
Thank you for your service. This is your payment. Have a nice day.
Mm-hmm. Heard the same thing. Yeah, well.
You see, when the words "we've lost confidence in you" end up in that letter, you have some problems, sir.
Oh, you saw the letter? Look at that smile. Your faces give you away, you know.
You just want to read everything into it.
Your faces give you away.
I remember I told you that another huge executive was going to.
Yeah.
GML's managing director has also resigned.
Yeah. I think it's the 4th or 3rd in 3 years.
That's a difficult company to run, eh?
Well, I understand it's a difficult company to work at.
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard.
But at the higher levels, yeah.
Yeah, I heard so. And from more than one person.
Yeah.
Yeah, Miss Malcolm.
It's been a long time told me, come in here, boy. And they were able to change my mind.
Yeah.
It's a tough job. Anyway, TSTT has been urged by Public Utilities Minister Marvin Gonzalez to be truthful and transparent with the population. To me, that's a very loaded statement.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, you have not been truthful and transparent with the population before. He told the new CEO, Kent Weston, or new acting CEO, Kent Weston, to be truthful and transparent with the population. And to work, their number one assignment is to rebuild public trust and confidence in the company.
Yeah.
There was a meeting yesterday between the Minister of Public Utilities, under which TSTT falls, the Minister of Digital Transformation, Hassel Backer, so we spoke to yesterday, who's, I think, so good at that, in that position, you know. TSTT's new acting CEO, Kent Weston, and the PS at the ministry, Nicolette Duke, and the TSTT's chairman, Sean Roach. They held up 4 or 5 had a meeting yesterday. And Minister Gonzalez said, your job is to be truthful and transparent with the population, implying that you have not been so before, and that needs to change. And you have now the task, given what has happened before, of rebuilding public trust and confidence. He said, open quotations. Minister Gonzalez emphasized the need for TSTT to be transparent, truthful, and forthright with the population, and move with dispatch on the investigations, as the breach may have had national security implications. He said restoring the public's trust and confidence was critical at this point. You see, I don't know. I'm gonna sip some coffee before I put myself in trouble here.
Gosh, no tease, man. I didn't bring no coffee this morning.
Who was advising them? But they made almost every error in corporate communications.
Yeah.
Almost every error. in corporate communications.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's quite poor. Quite poor.
Yeah.
And I was trying to find out who's the manager for corporate communication. I didn't find that out.
Well, I know the principal the substantive position, but whoever it is, I mean, you see, TSTT has the resources to hire if they don't have in-house.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to hire. So I don't know. As I said before yesterday, some people don't like to listen to advice and do their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, the CEO is going to be held accountable.
At the end of the day.
The communications were all signed by the CEO, signed off by the CEO. So you can't say what they did before.
Yeah, they need a little.
No, well, I mean, and be transparent, be timely, give people information. Don't try to minimize. Don't try to minimize the Don't try to minimize the damage. Acknowledge that there was an incident.
Mm-hmm.
Assure your clients, your customers, and your stakeholders that you're doing everything possible to secure their interests.
Mm-hmm.
And communicate to them again. Say when you're going to communicate to them in a timely manner.
Yeah, communication is always key in any organization.
This kind of communication too, and for her to admit in a public, a national newspaper advertisement that we apologize because communication was poor in a communication network.
Yeah, in a communication network, exactly.
It was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? So we'll see how it goes for Mr. Weston.
He has a tough job.
Not really. There are remedies that they could apply at this point. Mm-hmm. I think one of the first major steps in any organization restoring the confidence and the ability for the organization to fulfill its mandate is what they did. You know,
mm-hmm.
they replaced the CEO, the mm-hmm. leader. So the public now gets a sense that, well, there is new leadership on board and things may be different. You understand? So that's step one.
Yeah.
And now it's up to the new leadership to engage in activities that will restore confidence and reposition the organization in the public perception.
Yeah.
And you know what's bad about this too? They've been having problems with the billing system for months and can't seem to fix it.
Oh, geez.
For months. And they seem, for a company that's supposed to be a technological company, a communication company, these things are fixable, and they haven't seemed to be able to be transparent with their clients and the stakeholders about it, you know. And it's actually almost just under a year that these billing issues are there.
And the hard part about it, Paul, is that when the individual tries to rectify whatever billing issue they have, it's like pulling teeth.
Yeah.
I had a problem.
They don't seem to be customer focused at all. In many ways.
No, I totally agree with you there. Because I had a billing issue, and so I paid the bill not via the app, but via the bank. So I have a record of it. And it's when I was disconnected, I went, impossible, because I'm always a month in credit. I always try to keep my bills a month in credit. To only realize that the payments came out, and but TSTT wasn't saying it, and I had to print out all my statements showing that it was paid and when it was paid, and it took 3 weeks before.
I don't think that they have made a seamless transition from shutting down their main walk-in outlets
mm-hmm.
to the kiosks and the system that should have been in place to support that, and that's the problem. Yeah. So the transition was going to be a difficult one, and because we were accustomed walking into TSTT's physical outlets, and quite frankly, strategically, it was a smart move, in my opinion, because in the age of telecom and the age of online, there was no need to have all of them. I think they could have kept some of them, and I think they may have done so, and shifted to more kiosks operation with those sublet kiosks that people may own and sell their products and give the ability to pay bills. And that's the other thing. Not all of them could pay bills. There were inconsistencies with the kiosk. So if you went to one, no, we don't take bill payment here. We only have cell phones here. So once you have that green kiosk, you should have all these services available.
Additionally, additionally, when I go somewhere, I say, okay, how much is my bill? Oh, we don't get that here. So now I know how much I pay monthly. So now I have to say, well, put so and so on. So they need to work on that, definitely. And then a prepaid service, I don't know where the money goes.
Yeah. And the new CEO, the new acting CEO is, guess what? I think he was a VP customer experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah. Raise my eyebrows on that one too. Was that the right choice?
They need to streamline the operations and fix all of this. And all of this is happening while their main competitor is going guns.
Yeah.
Going guns.
They're sitting back and twiddling their thumbs.
And making all kind of big shot hires that don't make no sense. And if you're doing what the company is being run, well, it's one thing, but the seats certainly it has not been. And they're going into online payment. Okay. The stuff.
Yeah.
And to me, TSTT / Amplia, as the state's interest in telecom, has the potential to be a multi-billion-dollar company if run well.
Mm-hmm.
Because they can provide the infrastructure. They have the infrastructure on the ground for mobile services, because my understanding is that Digicel actually uses some of their infrastructure because it's there already.
Mm-hmm.
They have the infrastructure to support national security. That's why the minister said the breach may have had national security implications, because a lot of the national security infrastructure goes through TSTT's infrastructure. They have the ability for online services, which is huge, data and all of that. They have the potential to be one of the Apple or Google-like companies if they are run right. They went into all kind of stupidness, like, remember the cable company?
What was that called?
I forget what it's called, BTV, when they were offering cable channels, and that failed miserably.
Yeah.
Then they went into security services with the I forget what it's called. And I have no problem diversifying, but make sure your core competence is being served very effectively. So we know you for landline and mobile and internet services. Make sure those are running seamlessly before you transition to offering other services. And that's not the case. So, but we'll see. And you see, I have real sources in TSTT here. So I tell the backs before it come out.
Yeah. I think we both do have a lot of people that we know at TSTT.
I hear all the back channels before it come out, and all the decisions being made. And a lot of these issues, actually, to be fair, predate Miss Agard. You understand?
Correct.
They were there long before Miss Agard
Correct.
picked up that position. But, I mean, they didn't seem to be fixed effectively at all. So we'll see how it goes. And a large, as we've said over and over, a large number of these issues is because of the way we appoint boards in this country. So the boards are usually, not always, they're usually political friends and the families who may not necessarily have the competencies to oversee the governance of the entity. Yeah. But then there are entities like National Flour Mills that do very well.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So it's not only that. So we'll see how it goes. And to me, they can turn around stuff, because I've seen, for example, I think TTT has turned around quite a bit. You understand? In terms of understanding what the mandate is and not trying to compete with TV6 and CNC3.
Yeah.
and providing a conduit for government information and also local programming. So understanding your mandate and in the present context and reviewing it effectively is the way to go. So
Yeah, they need some program because when does, let's use TV6 and CNC3, when they go live is really for the morning and for news, and one doing the police show. I'm just talking about 3 and CNC3 and.
but even they need to revise their understanding of what modern television is. And if they don't, they're going to die.
Yeah.
Because let's start with that 7 o'clock in the evening news. It's just a tradition.
That's a tradition.
Because ain't no news that comes out on that anybody doesn't have before in their hand.
Yeah.
And they haven't done like North American and European networks and said, okay, this is the news. Let's just say the news today is 2 young men were killed in Bonnier. They don't add a stakeholder on set to update the population on that story.
No,
it's just
they
a
don't.
regurgitation of all the news that we've had all
This
day.
evening, yeah. So that same story came out yesterday morning, and
yeah.
the same story here at 7 o'clock.
And as for the morning shows, Rolls Eyes.
Yeah, Rolls Eyes.
Another tradition that
That's
is
a
not
tradition.
particularly compelling. When
No.
you look at global morning shows, it's just people just talking for 2 hours. So,
Yeah, one person behind a desk or sitting on a chair talking for 2 hours.
and in many cases, not very
With
open
no
down with-
features.
yeah. Well, it's not even that. Right? So 2 young men were killed yesterday.
2 youths. And it was sad to. I had on TV6 last night, and the first 15 minutes was just all about crime. It was so depressing. And then this young man who got killed actually came out with a song, but he had a tough life. You know, his mother died in his arms. He went to YTC when the prison came out and was turning his life around. People were helping him. Kudos to you people. And
well, he went through the MyLab program, which I keep saying is an excellent program.
yeah, he did.
You know, and again, you see, to be a teenager now, when we were teenagers or when I was a teenager, you could make little mistakes. You can't make mistakes now. If you make a mistake and hang with the wrong people now, you are dead.
Yeah.
This is an age now where you, as a teenager, you're not allowed, sadly, the mistakes of growing up. You will die. And they said they happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's a very strange statement. I always find a very strange statement. The two they were never targets according to the residents. They were at the wrong place at the wrong time. Olan James, 18 years old.
Yeah.
And Anand Prasad, 15.
Mm-hmm.
Jones was a recipient of the MyLab-led academy training program. So he went through the program. I don't know. Around 10, the assailants swing by the place with a car. They said they seem to have been patrolling the area for a while. And I don't know if people's lineman block still, you know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I've never been a lineman block to start with.
Yeah, I've never been.
Not with Darkness Richards as a mother, so it wasn't going to work out.
Yeah.
I'd lose limbs.
Yeah.
Right?
Never grew up lineman on a block.
To start with, but even back then, it was safer to lime on a block. Now you lime on a block. Now anybody could swing.
You never know.
And oh my God!
But last evening when I came out to throw out garbage and check meal about 8 o'clock last evening, and I stood outside for a 5, and at 8 o'clock, road quiet, not a soul walking. You could swear it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I said, but this place is very quiet for 8 o'clock. Very quiet. I don't know, but this it was depressing watching, and I say to myself, why am I subjecting myself to keep watching it? I know all of this already. Why am I subjecting
Here
myself?
is next one. Alana Simmons. Why all your senators and talk shows don't do to change things? Why you just toe in the line and talk out against the government and the puppeteers? What would you have us do, Alana Simmons? I guess she's frustrated. I understand.
Yeah.
That's probably what it is.
And everybody seems to be so angry.
Well, I understand it.
Children.
I understand the frustration of the population and the audience. I understand the frustration because they're living here, or in some cases, they're living outside and have significant interests here, and they are fed up of the place not doing well.
Mhm.
And all these issues that don't seem to be making a lot of progress. So,
Mhm.
I fully understand the frustration. And particularly, for example, when I'm by my friends in New York and they're talking about Trinidad, they live out there. The trainees who've gone out there for some years. That doesn't mean they don't have interest and family and here. You understand?
And the roots.
Their roots are here, so they may not be living here, but they certainly want the best for here. And I understand if the frustration is always about crime and how and why things are not being improved, no matter who in power. So it's not even a matter of this one in power, that one in power, this one in power. It just seems that we keep going around in circles. Good morning, Mr. Bagapasing.
Richie Rich.
Good morning, guys. Good morning to all listeners, wherever you are.
Good morning, Richie Rich. What's happening?
I'm good. I'm good.
Richard,
Is it raining up in your neck of the woods?
It was, but now it's clear now.
Yeah.
But it's raining, stopping, but it's clear
Yeah.
now.
Good morning to DL. Good morning, Shireen Jack, Ingrid Adams, Trinidad Margot, Rena Budu Jennings, Shoin Kerr, Brenda Isaac, Donna Leeling, Randy Kelly. Good morning to you all. Chris Toussaint, good morning. Morgans in Aruka, good morning. And Morgans is updating me here. He said just a small traffic update. The road by Prisons all the way to KFC Aruka have some road works being done. All right. So that's Golden Grove Road up to the Aruka Junction.
Oh, okay.
I shared a meeting yesterday with the medical profession, Dr. Roshan Parasram, and the top brass in the Ministry of Health. We have some rare diseases with non-communicable diseases, boy. 2 women die from breast cancer every 3 days. Of course, the big cancers, the killer cancers in Trinidad and Tobago, and our statistics in terms of cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and what's the third one? I forget the third one. All higher in terms of indices with our Caribbean counterparts. They said because of our lifestyle choices. Childhood obesity is on the rise, continues to be on the rise in Trinidad and Tobago. We don't seem to be getting the message through to the population about eating and sedentary lifestyles.
You mean lifestyle diseases?
Lifestyle diseases, yeah. Like cardiovascular disease, diabetes, hypertension is really an issue in Trinidad and Tobago. And also the breast cancer in women, cervical cancer in women, and prostate cancer in men. Colorectal cancer is also one of the issues that come up.
I know someone that was diagnosed with prostate cancer last week. Yeah. My mother found out she had breast cancer at stage 4.
Wow.
She's doing good.
One of our colleagues' brother died from this last weekend at 21 years old from leukemia.
Leukemia.
Sadly.
Yeah.
21 years old.
Yeah, 21, leukemia.
And so you have to take care of your health.
Yeah, you do.
I was tired as hell last evening, but I still went and walked. I didn't walk for like 2 days. And but I understand also the reticence of people to go walking because it's so dangerous sometimes. But on the good front, the Ministry of Education has spent just under $23 million on exercise equipment for over 600 schools in the country. So that's some good news. Yeah.
Mhm.
And they're being distributed now. And it's being installed, and the idea is to get school children moving and get them even more involved in exercise and healthier lifestyle choices. I think that in North American countries, by law, any food that's sold, you have to put a caloric count on it.
Well, Richard has been preaching that for years.
And in
I've
the
spoken to
UK,
ministers of health about doing that, and
Yeah.
they have not
Well,
been very.
I asked them
Yeah,
what it is, and they said it is being considered. But once you say it's being considered, it's not a
Yeah.
priority.
No, that
Forget
means
it.
no.
It means it's not a priority. And in the UK, in terms of the sweets, they passed a law about 6 years ago about the maximum number of calories in any piece of candy, or something like that. I think it's chocolate or candy, because of the impact on childhood obesity, because they realized it was turning into crisis stage. And Dr. Rushan Parsam said yesterday that based on our current trajectories, by 20, is it 30 or 40, he said? 2030. If we do not arrest the current trends, even if they quadruple the number of hospital beds in the country, we will not be able to accommodate the people with NCDs and delivering hospital.
Well, Paul, all of that is just talk. You engaged in what Trinidad and Tobago is very good at, talk. We love to sit around and talk and sip coffee and don't do material, simple things that could start changing that trajectory. Because if out of that conversation yesterday, you said in certain statistics, we are higher or higher than average than other countries in the world. And you can't make a simple decision that other countries have made already in terms of putting calorie counts on all foods, especially foods that you're buying out there. And we love to buy food. Trinidadians and Tobagonians love to buy food on the outside. We do. And you
Especially on
can't
a Friday,
get
Saturday.
a calorie count on a double stand or
On everything, on everything, that's
burgers
what double stand, on everything.
or KFC or wherever.
On everything
You still
should have a calorie count.
You still have to be considering that. Then it means all of the urgency that you're talking about there with Paul, you're just wasting time and radio air. Because it obviously ain't that urgent.
Why are you buffering me though?
Yeah, it obviously ain't that urgent.
Yes, when I asked the question yesterday again, because it's not the first time I've asked this question, that they said, well, it's being actively considered. But I mean, I don't really have faith when I hear that, because it's not a difficult thing to bring to Parliament. You see, to me, very often, I'm trying to be very careful here. The focus is on the business lobby and the inconvenience it will do to them, as opposed to the health and the benefits of the population. Because it will mean the business lobby have to spend money to change the packaging and all of that. And very often,
how much
business
more
lobbies.
alarming is it than that you are saying that we can't build enough hospitals and hospital beds and have enough hospital beds for a trajectory that is alarming?
Mm-hmm.
At what point do you say, look, we need to start implementing certain common sense measures in terms of people's health, consumption of alcohol, consumption of sugar?
Cigarette smoking.
Well, cigarette smoking. But I mean, that's the one thing you've seen them make some level of attempts in terms of controlling.
But then again, let me tell you why. Yeah, the advertising is one thing, but I asked a question yesterday also. So you have all these ads about the deleterious effects of cigarette smoking. And to be fair, they've had a lot of graphic ads out about the link to lung cancer and stuff. But then I asked, how are you measuring if it's working? To me, one of the only measures is to do liaise with the Ministry of Trade to find out if cigarette importers or distributors are distributing more or less over the last 10 years, because nobody's going to keep bringing something that's not being used. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So if you do have data to correlate like that, you're just shooting in the dark, you know. So,
And they have
so they said that's a good idea. I mean, no, it's not a good idea. It's a basic idea. How are you measuring the impact of TT moves? How are you measuring the impact of the anti-smoking campaign? You're just doing stuff. And these are people who are medical scientists who are supposed to be data driven. You know, so you have papers.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, before I get into papers, I'd seen a documentary about food some years ago, and they talked about fasting. And incidentally, one of them came up a long 2-hour YouTube video came across my stream yesterday, and I watched it. I was with Dr. Mindy Pels, who is a functional nutritional expert, and they were talking about fasting. It was very interesting, and all of the data that there is out there about how much fasting is so good and healthy for you.
You're talking about intermittent fasting, right?
Not only intermittent fasting.
Generally.
Intermittent fasting is one in terms of
intermittent fasting has been very useful for me. Very useful.
Yeah, intermittent fasting is one of it. But they're showing you that after 17 hours, they're saying that there are two sides. You have glucose and you have when you have ketones, when at a certain point in your fasting, in terms of the hour of your fasting. And after like 17 hours, you move into this ketone state, which starts to really, what happens is that your cells in your body start to say, well, look, I haven't eaten in a while. I don't know what's going on with you. And they basically start to say all of the bad cells in your body, they start to kick them out. Anything that's bad, it starts to repair. And over 24 hours, and she actually took it over 36 hours, what happens? And at 36 hours, I think you actually have stem cells that start to run through your body. It was such an interesting conversation.
Yeah, fasting, there are many documentations.
Can be part of healthy living in terms of curing a lot of diseases that people are going through. It was a very interesting conversation. But you know, in a Trinidad and Tobago context, that conversation ain't coming up.
Macaroni pie, rice, and potato salad.
Yeah. So, but we have to do something. We have to do something. I mean, anyway, let's get to the newspapers at this point. So I will start with the Daily Express, and of course, I don't know if you've talked about this tragic story of the teens being shot in Bonaire.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, and of course, that's the headline: teen friend shot dead. That's the headline. 57 spent shells recovered at a Ruka murder scene. That's the headline. I mean, terror in Bamboo, that's page 4. That's another story. And Gonzalez, TSTT must tell the truth. All of that is headlines and sub-headlines on the front page of the Daily Express this morning. On the back page, looking to see if I see anything about Bacchanal Bubble and bad behavior, which is on this weekend. Oh, yeah, it is on page 7. It's on at Sapper this weekend. You should not miss it. It's our final 2 shows for 2023. On the back page of the Daily Express, hard shift. Soca Warriors face defending champs USA in Nations League quarters and ICC men's CWC. That's on the front and the back page of the Daily Express this morning. I'm going straight on to the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian. Deadly snack run is the headline that the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian went with. 2 teens killed outside Bonaire parlor. Gunmen spray 57 bullets into crowd. Isn't that, I don't know, isn't that
crazy?
You need an adjective before crazy.
The curse adjective.
I mean, unbelievable. And you can't say if it's unbelievable anymore because so many kind of incidents like this have been occurring. I don't know. I don't know. Gonzalez keen to work with new TSTT CEO. Deputy Mayor's ex-husband in court for ganja. I don't know how that's a headline, but okay. Because the Deputy Mayor's ex-husband. And community saddened at loss of life. And all of that's on the front page. And of course, it's a picture of the venue where the incident took place. On the back page of the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian, warriors ready, so says Angus Eve. And that's all you need to know in front and back of the daily Trinidad and Tobago Guardian. Moving on to the Newsday today, it's almost like they all have kind of similar front stories. 57 bullets for teens. That's the headline the Newsday went with. Bonnet community in fear after double murder. And that was so sad watching that story last night. It just, I don't know. Venezuelan mothers face deportation. That's also a sub-headline on the Newsday. And on the back page, Eve targets Conmenol spot as TNT face US in CNL quarters. We want to be in Copa. And Speyside player attacked during intercall semis. I mean, he's attacked during intercall semis. What that means?
What does that mean?
I don't know. He attacked on the field? What is that? I mean, but that's it for the 3 dailies this morning. I just want to see what that intercall story is.
Good morning and happy birthday to Denise Deming, who's always listening to us.
Oh, happy birthday to
Happy
you.
birthday, Denise. Have a great day.
Yeah. Cake and ice cream.
Tobago's boys intercall semi-final match between Bishop's High School and reigning Tobago champ Signal Hill was marred by an ugly off-field incident at Plymouth Recreation Grounds on Tuesday as spectators attacked Speyside secondary player Jafar Edwards during the early stages of the abandoned match. Well, I assume they abandoned it after the attack. What craziness is this going on? It's like violence in all aspects of the society. And the state has to get a control of it because, of course, this is the school system. So I think that there is no more important issue than how you deal with anger management and violence in schools for the Ministry of Education to tackle. Because that's what's seeping out into the rest of the society. It's kind of like almost synergistic because it's the society is being violent in so many ways, and of course it's translating into the school system, and then the school system is becoming a breeding ground for those violent individuals to come out again, and it's like a perpetual circle going on round and round and round the mulberry bush, and we have to put a stop to it.
So what's your question this morning?
I had one earlier this weekend. We'll just check it. In light of the, you know what would be an interesting poll, Paul? In light of the crime, the violence and crime in Trinidad and Tobago on a daily basis, do you ever consider migrating?
We've asked that so many times.
Have we?
Yes, we have. We asked if you could, would you migrate?
Oh, okay. No, this one was the poll that I had no longer relevant. It was concerning the Tobago issue with the cruise ships. At the time when the maxi taxi drivers didn't turn up. I had crafted a poll for that. Yeah.
Well, we could ask a poll about the food and the caloric count on food boxes.
That's a good idea. Let's do that. That's a good idea. It's time we get that.
Denise Deming's birthday, is it?
I just said happy birthday, Denise Deming.
Oh, okay. I thought you were just
wake up, wake up. So the question this morning is:
do you think that a calorie count should be placed on all purchased food? I guess
a mandatory calorie count.
Mandatory calorie count to be placed on all purchased food. All food available for purchase. It should be cooked food.
How you spell calorie?
CALORIE. But people who are interested in the fasting issue, her name is Dr. Mindy Peltz. It was a very interesting conversation.
There's several people who have lots of scientists and nutritionists who speak about it now. Doctors also. So there's our question this morning.
All right.
Do you think Amanda? Okay, just
go ahead, Rich.
It vanished. It vanished. It will come up again, I guess. But you know what our poll is? You know what our poll is this morning? So 222 talk 222-8255. There it is. 222 talk 222-8255. North Americans 866-525-1099. People on the web and the app. You know what to do. Send your comments via the YouTube stream, Facebook, or LinkedIn. And of course, you can also WhatsApp us at 318-1021. That's 868-318-1021. You can WhatsApp us your vote. Do you think a mandatory calorie count should be placed on all food for purchase in Trinidad and Tobago? That's our poll this morning.
All right. You heard it. Let's get those messages coming through. Do you think a mandatory calorie count should be placed on all food for purchase in Trinidad and Tobago?
Now, some countries do it this way. They put it at the point of purchase, and some countries put it at the point of purchase and on the packaging.
Yes, that's true.
So you have it, you look up on the wall and you're looking for your options. 8 calories, a 2-piece, 47 calories, but they also put it on the box. For example, with a roti shopper, you put it in a bag, or you put it on the wall next to the options. So if you add this additional X calories, if you add that additional 16 calories, that's what some companies do it, some countries do it, some countries are compliant. Because some foods is difficult to put on the thing. But that's our question this morning. Do you think a mandatory calorie count should be placed on all foods for purchase in Trinidad? We were talking about obesity and NCDs earlier on, and this led to our question this morning because of the health issues related.
Yeah. All right.
Agree.
Good morning, caller.
Good morning, gentlemen. Sandy Grandi. No.
All right. Thank you. Trini in Boston says yes. Rena Boodoo Jennings says yes. It is time we eat sensible and healthy.
Steve said that, boy. Okay.
I had fruit for breakfast yesterday.
Yeah, but let's see how long that lasts.
If you eat one doubles, you will have ingested 345 calories, 11.8 grams of fat, 997.9 milligrams of sodium, 51 grams of carbs, 2 grams of fiber, and 9.6 grams of protein.
Holy,
that is just one.
345 calories. And that shouldn't be on a doubles card. It should be.
Should be.
Happy birthday to Evans.
You know what the calories that you're about to eat, because if you stand up there, sometimes people stand up there and eat 5 and 6 doubles.
Yeah. Look at me right here. Happy birthday to Evans Batista and your wife Julia. She says have a wonderful day. Sending love and kisses to you. That's true. People stand and eat 5 and 6 doubles sometimes.
Yeah. If you see, okay, this is how much calories you're eating, it will kind of temper you. Huh?
It will temper you.
It does temper you.
It will.
So good. All right, got some votes coming in.
Your Castle outlet or Popeye's outlet, you see at the side of it how much calories each serving is.
Mm-hmm.
Each piece.
It does affect you mentally. You start to think,
I think I want to ingest all that. Let me just do 2 instead of 5.
I'm not go for the 3-piece. I'm gonna go for the 1 piece.
All right. Sherwin Koo says yes. Yeah, Sherwin Koo says yes to the poll. Richard Jeremiah says yes. Carol Guevara says yes. Wayne Joseph from Ontario, Canada says yes. Richard Duku says yes. Curtis Henderson says yes. Let's see on WhatsApp. I got good morning, yes to the poll. I've got please vote. I got Sovereign saying no. I got Cascade saying yes. All right.
It's on WhatsApp.
Yeah. Alana Simmons says because double's cheap and there's full your belly. All right. Do you think a mandatory calorie count should be placed on all food for purchase in T&T? What says you, caller?
Hey, hi, morning. I'm
Morning.
actually agreeing. Morning, sugar. Morning, sugar.
Morning, Mrs. R.
Morning, love of my life. Breath of fresh air on this program. I'm actually agreeing with Paul this morning on this question, so I'm going to say yes. You know, many times I don't agree with your goodly colleague there, but yeah, I will say definitely yes.
People get accustomed to bad choices, you know.
You think so?
You
Mhm.
broke up.
I just hear like somebody said something, but I didn't hear what Paul said. And yeah, my answer is yes. Don't keep
All
me
right.
back. I am
Thank
moving
you.
early today.
All righty. I got another yes. Good morning, gentlemen. Yes. Andre Juman. Good morning to Andre. Yes, from Canada. Kenny and Harlem. Hey, Kenny, I haven't heard from you in a long time. Hope all is well. I say yes to the poll. CJ out in New York. Good morning, CJ. Yes to the poll. Of course, CJ is watching us on YouTube. Thank you so much. Miss Bonaire West says yes.
Should mandatory calorie counts be placed on all foods to purchase in Trinidad and Tobago? That means food and drink too, because the sodas are also a big cause of concern, and the sugar drinks.
Yeah. Good morning, Lorna, Indy, Kali. Yes, of course. Thank you so much, guys.
For example, when you go movie count, shouldn't you see the calorie count or anything up there?
Yes.
You should. That's my opinion. You should.
You should see it.
Mm-hmm.
I moved it on the other day and they didn't. I usually want coffee, but the coffee machine was down. And so I was buying something and a drink came with it. And I just drank water. So I said, well, okay, give me one of your soft drinks. Whatever soft drink that comes with it, just give me it. I'll just drink a little bit of it. If you see the size of the cup, I said,
Yeah.
when she put the cup, I said, oh God. She started to laugh.
I always ask for the water now.
I said, so
ask for the water
big.
all the time now. Where the cups are big.
Yeah.
I ask for the water all the time
I
now.
said, I can't even drink a quarter of that. Because
Yeah.
I don't really drink soft drink. I say, I'm not even going to drink a quarter of that. I'm going to take about 3 sips and throw that away.
You might go into a diabetic coma if you drink that.
It's like, she started to laugh when I, impulsively went, oh God, so big. Oh my goodness. And
Keegan Barra, that's a new name. Good morning, Keegan. Never saw that name before. Welcome to the show. Keegan says no. Mass nutrition education needed, which I agree with, but they can work together. So Keegan says no. Marcia Rock says yes. I think you have Kenny says yes. CJ from New York says yes. Andre Juman says yes.
Thing says that Keegan is saying that it won't make any impact. It does, you know.
It does.
When you see it, it does, because when you're abroad and you look at the different calorie count, it does inform your choice.
Mm-hmm.
You think it doesn't, but it does. It does. You start to say, okay, I was.
I only want 600 calories in my system today. You tell yourself that.
Yeah. You see, oh, okay. I was feeling for that, but I'm going to shift to this.
Ray says yes to the poll. Susie B says yes. Oliver says yes. Flash, hey Flash, I haven't heard from you in a long time as well. Says yes. All right. Continue to vote. Let me just send that for Shane, so we have that there. All right. As we get into our 7:00 major news, let me send this for Shane. I'll take a picture of it. Makes it easy. All right, let's get into our news. Evie is in. And of course, it is the 16th day of November. Here we go.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
Here are your news headlines. SWRHA confirms cyber attack on October 23rd. CEO of the authority describes the incident as malicious. It assures patients' information is not compromised. Opposition calls for proactive response to addressing cybersecurity attacks, and UDACOT gives new timelines for submitting financial audited accounts. Details in a moment. This is news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. I'm Avril Sintel-Bab. Good morning. Malicious is how the Southwest Regional Health Authority has described the recent breach of its cybersecurity system. It was profound, according to Chief Executive Officer of the Southwest Regional Health Authority, Dr. Brian R. Moore. He outlined the various courses of action taken as the SWRHA resorted to, among other things, the temporal use of manual systems. This development took place on October 23, 2023 at 3:44 a.m. Dr. Amor said from evidence available, information relating to patients was not compromised. The disclosure was made during Wednesday's sitting of a joint select committee, which inquired into Trinidad and Tobago's response to the prevalence of non-communicable diseases with specific focus on diabetes, cardiological diseases, and cancer.
Of some paper-based systems as well as some manual backup data. And for us, it's not only patient care, electronic data was impacted, but also to some extent our administrative data. But all in all, with the support of other RHAs, because they would have assisted us, as well as the Ministry of Health with their guidance, we are considered ourselves well on our way to recovery. We have stated in the public domain yesterday and on further today as of this morning that we expect to resume our patient core services in full by November the 20th. Some of the systems I described have gotten back online.
He said since the incident, investigations are ongoing and systems are gradually being brought back into operation.
I would have to say that investigation is ongoing. It's in the hands of law enforcement, so that will be TTCERT. That would be best poised to provide the answer to that question. But in terms of it has been deemed malicious, in terms of it is malware, and therefore the way forward is just simply a matter of prevention. As we speak about prevention in that regard, we just have to prevent the attacks and just have that level of security that is required moving forward and keeping up to date with the current cyber world environment that's out there.
Meanwhile, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Asif Ali, was asked how much emphasis was being placed on this since confidentiality of patient information is part of its business. In response, Mr. Ali said discussions have been held with key stakeholders in a bid to ensure cybersecurity continues to be addressed with the level of priority and seriousness it deserves.
It's critical to us. So actually, we would have met with TTCERT and the 4 RHAs last week to discuss, one, the current state of the respective RHAs and their systems, and two, what action can we take to improve the security of the 4 RHAs and the Ministry of Health of our IT systems. The Ministry of Digital Transformation would have also been part of those discussions to ensure that whatever systems we roll out or we implement, we have taken the adequate steps to provide that level of cybersecurity.
The opposition is suggesting there be constant review and adjustment in the national response to cybersecurity attacks. Opposition Member of Parliament Dr. Rudal Munilal, speaking at a news briefing on Wednesday, highlighted the need for being proactive in addressing issues relating to this subject. He added this topic cannot be handled in a laid-back way due to the dynamic and changing nature of cybersecurity and the challenges posed. Dr. Munilal also called for the return of the Joint Select Committee on Cybersecurity and other measures in this development to keep up to time in treating with the situation.
A UNC government will be proactive, will develop the institutions, will go to the parliament. MP Padara told us there's a joint select committee on cybersecurity. We must, reactivate, re-energize those type of bipartisan committees, so we can examine industry, examine the public sector as to what they are doing, what are the challenges. Don't wait for persons to steal the data.
The Urban Development Corporation has given new timelines for the submission of its financial audited accounts for the period 2019 to 2022. Chairman of UDACOT, Noel Garcia, gave the update during Wednesday's sitting of the Public Accounts Enterprises Committee. The committee inquired into the audited accounts, balance sheet, and other financial statements of UDACOT for the financial years 2017 to 2018 and the follow-up on the implementation of the recommendations in the committee's first report of the 12th Parliament. Mr. Garcia said the situation developed due to a change in auditing companies from KPMG in 2016 to PKF, which created some challenges for the organization, and as a result, it was unable to keep the initial timelines. He said KPMG cited staffing challenges and a change in its strategic direction as the reasons for its decision to be unable to continue its service with UDACOT.
I'm advised that the new timelines are as follows. For the accounts of 2019, we are expected to deliver that sometime towards the end of November. For 2020, we are looking somewhere in January 2024. For 2021, we are looking at April 2024. And for 2022, we are looking at July 2024.
PAC Chairman Wade Mark wanted to get more details surrounding the circumstances under which KPMG stopped its services with UDACOT. In response, Mr. Garcia said the firm also held meetings with UDACOT's management and board on this matter.
We had a number of challenges in terms of the completion of the audits. And the explanation they gave us is, one, they had challenges with staffing, and two, they were taking a different strategic direction in terms of their business model. We were not in a position to verify or to come to that argument, and as a result, we had to go out and look for new auditors.
You are listening to news on Power 102 Digital to 7 o'clock. 7 persons were arrested while a firearm and cocaine was seized and a stolen vehicle recovered during anti-crime exercises on Tuesday, 14th November. Officers of the Southern Division Task Force targeted drug blocks and priority offenders during a series of crime eradication exercises yesterday. One man, 25, was arrested for possession of cocaine for the purpose of trafficking. Another was detained for possession of an offensive weapon, while 3 other suspects were arrested for possession of a device. Also, a 35-year-old man is expected to appear before a magistrate today to answer to the charge of larceny. Police reports indicate that on Monday, 13th November, a man walked into a business place on Supero Street, San Fernando, and took 1 pair of scissors and one 27.5-inch Hyper Bear mountain bicycle valued at $2,000 and then rode off. The swift response from officers resulted in the arrest of the suspect shortly thereafter. In exercises held in Eastern Division, officers found a firearm while conducting a search in the vicinity of Quarry Road, Valencia. Meanwhile, in the Northern Central Division, Corporal Basanu PC DeFore and WPC Singh acted on information and proceeded to St. Michael's Road, Tacarigua, where they recovered a silver Mazda Familia vehicle parked along the road. The car was reported stolen on October 12, 2023. Investigations are ongoing into the matters. Well, finally, here is weather news for the period today till midnight. Trinidad and Tobago, partly cloudy and breezy with occasional showers. There is a medium chance of isolated thunderstorm activity. Showers are expected to linger over a few areas tonight. Gusty winds and street flooding are likely in the event of heavy downpours. Look out for a forecast maximum temperature of 31 degrees Celsius, both at Piarco International Airport and Crown Point, Tobago. Currently, it is 26 degrees Celsius at Piarco and 25 at Crown Point. Recapping your headlines to 7 o'clock, the SWRHA confirms cyber attack on October 23rd. CEO of the authority describes the incident as malicious. The SWRHA, however, shows that patients' information was not compromised. The opposition calls for proactive response to addressing cybersecurity attacks, and UDACOT gives new timelines for submitting financial audited accounts. I'm Avril Sintel Bab. That was News 2, 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. Look out for news in full coming up at 12 noon and an update coming your way at 8 o'clock this morning. For more details, log on to power102fm.com.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
All right. Thank you, Avril, for our major news. Of course, you can join us again come 8 o'clock for our news brief. All right. Take a look at what's happening traffic-wise. San Fernando, you're lighter than usual. Yeah. You got a little traffic leaving San Fernando, passing through Taruba. There is one accident, a minor accident on northbound on the Solo by Harmony Hall. All right. So that's great. A little pile up there this morning. But as you head north, you're going to pick up your traffic just by Chase Village, but heavier from Charlieville, heading towards the interchange. Leaving Sugar Corners, going to Endeavour Chinchin Road towards Ibis Gardens. Yeah, heavy Ibis Gardens and Kirup also heavy. Kelly Village to the back of the airport, heading to Churchill Roosevelt Highway. That's also a bit heavy. Valencia Stretch, you got some volume there. Volume again. Santa Rosa. Golden Grove Road, you've got some traffic towards the Eastern Main Road. As Mogain says, they're doing some milling there. But you got traffic from Piarco to Uwe, Kirup, the Port of Spain. Southern Main Road, Kirup is also heavy. Eastern Main Road, usual spots, not too bad. Automara, Valendago, heavy. All right, so that's a quick traffic update for you. Let's see if we have any more votes on our morning poll. I got Tony. Morning, Tony. Tony saying yes. Okay. All right. Oof. You know, all we want is yes or no. Okay. So
Why do you want to yes or no? Why do you can't comment?
Well, to find the yes or no's, they can comment, but did not say any yes or no.
Well, they don't feel to say yes or no. They have the choice to do that.
Yeah, but it's a poll.
Yeah, and they could comment on the poll. Nothing wrong with that. They're not robots.
Let me give the results.
Mm-hmm.
So we had. You give any additional results? There.
Tony said yes.
That's it?
Yep.
So we had 30 people voting on the poll in the allotted time this morning. And of the 30 people who voted, 27 of you said yes. You do think that it should be there should be a mandatory calorie count placed on all food for purchase. 27 of you said yes. 3 of you said no. So that's an obvious majority. Of course, you can continue to vote on this poll throughout the day, through our programming, and we'll give you the final results tomorrow morning, which will be Friday, because the weekend begins tonight, people, at a second after midnight, because it's Thursday, just in case you didn't know. And of course, the weekend is chock full with entertainment as we move to Bacchanal, Bubble, and Bad Behavior, final 2 performances, and it's our final 2 performances in theater for 2023. And of course, it will be at SAPA, Saturday at 8:30, Sunday at 6:30. I know the box office had loads of sales yesterday. So the box office opened at SAPA yesterday from 12 noon to 6 p.m. and it's open 12 noon to 6 p.m. daily. And tickets are also available at K Squared Fashions, at C3 Center, and at Gulf City, as well as Fens of Marabella by the Roundabout and Creme Fresh in Brentwood Mall in Chagonas. You can also purchase tickets online. You can check RR Productions Theater page for more information, and you can get all of the information you require, as well as you can see some of the reviews from people who've come to the play. They are excellent, and many people say they haven't laughed out loud so hard in such a long time. So it is a great stress reliever. Trust me, you should not miss it. We can guarantee you in this play that if you don't laugh, we'll give you back your money. This play is that funny. It is that funny. We can actually say that. I ain't saying it, but we can say it.
Two talk.
Oh, so we don't have a guest lined up today. Oh.
I see you sent me that thing with Emirates Air, Richard,
Yeah.
and that they're going to passportless. Was it passportless? Your face is your passport.
Mhm.
Passport
And
less
boarding pass.
and boarding pass less. So you
How's
just
that going to work?
But I think when we time you, but I mean I don't know how exactly it's going to work. But obviously, once you pass through a particular section, it's already taken a picture of you, etc., and it is already verified that you are a legitimate passenger. So it gives a green.
But I guess it's like an AI addition, so they scan your face and your face is your fingerprint.
Yeah, something like that. But as to the actual details of how that is going to work, I don't. Somebody sent me that video yesterday, so I said I'd share it.
Interesting development. We see how it goes. I doubt it'll be pervasive because you still have to pass through an airport at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And the other airline can do what they want, but you have to pass through an airport.
All right, we have some callers. Good morning.
Good morning,
Morning.
Steve. Good morning, Dr. Paul.
Good morning.
Richard.
Good morning.
I'm on YouTube. And
You mean I watch us on TSTT?
Paul, Steve, I want to get your WhatsApp number. So I can comment sometimes.
318
Mm-hmm.
1021.
1021. Okay.
Mhm.
218. All right. So my answer to the poll is no. I don't think it should be mandatory because most of the packaged stuff in these supermarkets or wherever, they have all the items, all the things written on it, how much grams of fat, this, that, the other. People not reading, a lot of people still not reading that. I know some people go in the grocery and they stand up and look. Now, if it is mandatory now, how long will you spend in the grocery? So I don't think it's necessary. People should just watch what they eat. And if, working people 5 days a week, they're buying lunch every day and want to take a heaping amount of every item they see on the board, what do you expect to happen to them?
Why are you trading words at Steve?
Hmm?
Why are you trading words at Steve? He didn't deserve that.
Well, simple as
I apologize to Steve. Why are you just trading words at Steve? Just so
simple as the doubles that Richard spoke about. Wow. So I don't think it's necessary or mandatory, in fact, because I think adults supposed to know what they're eating and then the children will follow.
But that's not happening. The data suggests that that's not happening. The data suggests that we have a higher than average rate of diabetes and other lifestyle diseases. So the data is not suggesting that we're making responsible choices.
Well, what could, and by having mandatory calorie, I don't think that will make it responsible any better anymore.
Well, it will help because it will help some people be more informed. More information, so more information is not a good thing.
Of course, more information, but guess what? Everything that has more information is just like nothing to these people, So I don't agree. But I want to comment on something. Otherwise, I'm surprised Dr. Paul he didn't comment on what Ms. Christopher said yesterday at the family services. Something with Dr. Minister Cox about there's a crisis in parenting, and in fact I agree with her, because even though it is in the minority, imagine that the crime is in the minority, the people who are committing the crime is in the minority, but yesterday the majority of the population is fearful. So I agree with her, and she always had this mantra that parents have a lot to do with what is happening with these young people, So I agree with her for a change, And one thing again, final thing, the two young men who were killed yesterday in Bonner, I happen to know them. I see them come from school. As the young man who goes to Diego Martin Central, I see him every day, and he is so respectful. He must have good afternoon. And the other young one, he was in my lab program. He told me, and when I saw that last night, I said, "What is this?" He said, anytime he want to buy any stuff from my place, he come and say, "Mother, what you have nice today?" And then you say, "Oh gosh, well, I wish I had money, I'll come and buy this, I'll come and buy that." And seeing his picture yesterday on the news, I was like, what is happening here? So I'm condolences to his family and so on, both families. And as I say, they were in the wrong place at the wrong time. So you all have a good day. Thanks.
Thank you.
All righty. Good morning.
Hey, morning, everybody. Morning.
Morning.
Morning,
Good morning. I was listening to two different presenters this week. One is Minister of Education. The second one was Minister of Social Welfare. And the third one is Commissioner of Police. And the three of them echoing the same sentiments. Parenting. The Minister of Education say, what is education really? Education is math, English, chemistry, bio. Education is the total or wrongs of the student, the child. Right? The social welfare say absentee parents. All them parents now working. You have to work, you know what's going on there.
Yeah.
For Richard. And the Commissioner of Police now was saying that they're trying to leave the job up now to the police. The police is not parents. The police have a job to do is arrest, charge, and bring to court. But the parents now, which is a full-time job. For Richard, he's a man into education. What is the blueprint of parenting?
There is no blueprint of parenting, Mr. Patrick.
All right, that's the issue. There's no blueprint of parenting. So people grow up, children, how to see and how to choose, how to feel. Or some children growing up without father, without mother. You understand? And they're doing what they want to do. So this parenting issue is what have the whole world. No need to that in a whole mess, in a crisis. So that's the issue. Parenting, education. Right? I mean, when we grow up, at the time we grew up, we never had all these other technology and all these other music and all these other. The parent was the parent. No, right now the parent, not the parent. You know what? The parent right now is not the parent. The parent is just a part-time parent, but the parent now is the iPhone, is the social media, is University of the West Indies, higher school of learning. When you go there, you get a different value, a different thing. You understand? So
when you say that, Mr. Patrick, and when people say that, and the ministers say that, they're stating the obvious. I don't think it's any brilliant statement they're making. One. Two, the statement seems to suggest that they are not good parents in Trinidad and Tobago. And I think the majority of children, the majority of children are being brought up properly. Okay? Because it's not all the children getting bad. Right? So that's two. And they don't seem to understand that in every society, it's almost like a great excuse for them. That in every society, there are institutions that are supposed to fill in the blanks and the gaps, which is their role, right? So not all parents have the same resources. Not all parents have the same knowledge. Not all parents should be parents. And that is where the state comes in to fill in the blanks.
But for the judge, in we time, we parents don't have lots of money, we don't have lots of things, but they had value.
And what is the first thing you said, Mr. Patrick? What is the first part of that statement?
We don't have access to money.
In we time, things do not remain the same. Things evolve. Society gets more, I don't say more sophisticated. Society evolves. The same things that worked 20, 40 years ago are not necessarily going to work today.
All right, but the values don't remain the same?
This presumption that all values are universal is inaccurate.
I never
There
said
are
that.
influences now on children and adults that we didn't have 40 years ago.
You know, I was reading a book yesterday, Relativity. It's right based on the angle you look at it, and it's wrong based on the angle you look at it. So therefore, is there no right and no wrong?
Precisely, there are no universal values that much anymore. And when children have, long ago, the primary influences you had were your family, your community, and your school, and your religious organization. Now, you are exposed to everything on a tablet and a phone from around the world, so the influences are different.
So you living by trial and error then?
I wouldn't say that. We're always living by trial and error at some stage.
Because you don't have
The consequences to mistakes are more immediate now.
You know, different organization, different religion have value system, right? Which the
Yes.
devotees and the believers subscribe to.
Sometimes.
Right? And sometimes the children and them, some go astray, but the majority of the children move upright into the society. But the home life don't find our values and principles and things. The children love to go they run where they want.
The man asked me a question, Wendy, and I answered, okay?
Yeah. All right, sir.
Thanks, Mr. Patrick. 222-8255, toll-free North Americans.
The conversation.
You will always have certain parents who don't have the requisite parental skills.
Always.
That is always going to happen. And the school system really should be a rebalancer in terms of ensuring and making sure that the societal rules and norms are in fact aligned in terms of the entire school population. That's what the school system is for. The school system is aligning values and aligning how we deal with each other in a particular way. Well, at least that's part of its function. So how the state can't go into every single dysfunctional family. Now, can there be more resources dedicated to dealing with dysfunction when it erupts? Because the first signal of dysfunction in a family is usually the child that will crop up in a primary school system. And that's where you will get some indication of something is wrong. Should there be more resources in terms of intervention and finding out what is taking place there? Then fine, yes, there should be more resources in that kind of way. But you're always going to have that sort of problem. And Trinidad and Tobago is not now a violent society. In terms of the amount of violence you're seeing, it has increased, but it has always been there.
I'm glad you said it, because people seem to think that it wasn't happening before at that level. We didn't have as much media, and it wasn't immediately circulated on your phone. We had a lot of sexual predatory abuse back in the day. This perfect time we like to tout about back in the day when it wasn't perfect at all.
Nope.
No, all kind of things used to be going on in all kind of villages that nobody used to talk about.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Hi.
Good morning.
I'm okay. Let me answer the poll first. I don't agree it should be mandatory, but now I must commend the Ministry of Education. When the school feeding program had just started, they used to serve the children, well, what my son them used to call it, box lunch, and they used to give them a chubby, which is a soft drink. And I guess some nutritionist spoke to them and told them, no, that is not healthy, right? Because you have some people do not give their children soft drink to drink, okay? They removed it, and I think they give them a juice now or whatever. Anyway, so, I mean, that was a step in the right direction. Okay, let me move on. When I hear people say good parenting, a lot of people will feel they're bringing up their children in the right way. Now, you could bring up your child, you could feel, well, okay, I'm doing the right thing, I'm guiding them, whatever. But you see, when they leave your house. That is why long time people used to say, don't put your hand in fire for your children. Because your child will be very well behaved at home. When they go out, you don't know what influence. Some children could be influenced very easily. I remember growing up in Diamondville, my mother allowed us to go cinema on a Saturday. And there was one particular girl in the group when we go, she'd always want to go somewhere after the cinema show. I used to resist and say no, because I want to go to the next cinema show at the Luke's or Empire or wherever, right? So, and I never forgot that interview when those boys got killed with the shooter, whatever, with the Pennywise robbery. That interview with one of the parents, that husband and wife sat down and spoke about those same boys who got killed. They used to come home by them. The lady said they used to eat there. They used one who sleep and whatever. And she was in a shock that her son and those boys put down that robbery. The woman keeps saying, no, not my son. He ain't no killer. Now, you see, she bring him up. She know his friends. But when they leave the house, she don't know what they're doing, and look, it came public what they were doing. So sometimes you do the correct thing in parenting, and when your child leaves home, they could be influenced. Look, we just talk about sport and get into sport. I just heard on the news, big fight on a football field in Tobago between two schools. I don't know, I just say like something in the water was giving people. I don't understand it. And like it only going in certain areas, like it's only certain people drinking it. My God. And before I close, Richard.
Yeah.
Hello? Richard.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yes. Why it should take, I should say, 11 years for a murder trial to take place, Richard? This thing is baffling me. When I read that case with those 7 officers, plus the state witness, whatever, since 2011, and this, I said, Richard, try to explain me what could cause, and you know what I'm baffled at? There's my layman thing. You get a state witness, so I would think it would make the case easier, because Ramesh, I just keep using Ramesh Lawrence Maraj and the 9 men with Dolce. He got a state witness, and that case, that I keep going back into that case. The murder has happened in 94, and by 98, thing wind up. Come on, something ain't right. I'm trying to find out who was the DPP in that case with Dolce and those 8 guys. And I don't know if it's Henderson. I'm still not getting who was the DPP. But something ain't going right. How the hell you could have a state witness? Well, okay, the state witness saying she pleading the fifth, she ain't talking, but 11 years all you got a state witness, and up to only 2023 now. All you need to send down some foreigners, Canadian, whoever, and let me adopt there, because you they see, look at this big case with Murdoch, when they say he kill his wife and his child. That thing ain't go for 5 years. Why everything in Trinidad had to be like trying to get a HDC house? I'm going with that one. You'll have a blessed day.
You know what struck me yesterday? Thank you. About Corporal Dane Marie Marshall when she spoke to us yesterday. And I was wondering about that, if there were legal hurdles to expediting cases. But she said the judiciary made a point about expediting that case. And I always thought there might have been some legal challenge from the defense to expediting a case. But the judiciary clearly can do it.
But wait, Paul, before you go on, the expediting she talked about is 5 years, eh?
I know, but still, it means the option is available for some cases, depending on how important.
Paul, 5 years in no matrix on any.
I agree with that. But
across the
in the
planet,
context of a case taking 17 years, five years is expedited. And there are some cases, to me, and then people may have a different opinion, that because of the gravity of the case for the country's future, need to be expedited. For example, that Dana Sitaha case. You understand? Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. Mr. Pinal here. I think the Commissioner of Police is right to a large degree in that the police are doing their job. Their job is to identify who they think is the criminal, arrest him, and he goes into remand yard or he gets bail or whatever. Remand yard is full, so they're doing that. And then the jail is full, so they're doing sufficient that enough of the people that they are arresting are going to jail and remand yard is full. So they're holding enough people. The problem is the supply side. The supply of criminals just keeps getting better and better. Well, I mean, if you like that. More and more and more. Right? I mean, if, how much more can they do if they are filling up the remand yard and the prisons? It's up to the judiciary now to empty remand yard, but then it keeps filling up because if crime slows down, if people stop committing crime to that great degree, right, the remand yard will slowly begin to empty out. However slowly it is, if you don't add anything, it's like a slow leak in your tank. You 3 days later, it might all be gone, so long as you don't add anything. But if people out here keep supplying criminals for the police to catch, and they're catching them and filling up remand yard, I think the Commissioner of Police could say that we are not the problem. We are catching them. Somebody else has to deal with them after that. Somebody else has to stop producing criminals, not us. We don't have to stop producing criminals. Who is producing the criminals? And the criminals, in my not so humble view, I'm not really humble, I try to pretend sometimes. It is my view that the criminals are produced in the homes. I never expect that my children that are grown will always take my point of view, but my point of view is on the table. They know what I think, and they're reasonably intelligent, like, most of us. And therefore, as they go older, they will form, a whole set of new ideas and whatnot. Times have changed. But in their formative years, they always knew what I thought. I was always a contender in their point of view. But if you're not there, or if you're not a contender, or you're contending all over the place, so you're diminished, and people get angry with me if, you're pointing to certain communities, you're pointing to certain, but it's happening everywhere to different degrees. Like the lady before pointed out, the person who gave the interview, I saw it, was very, very surprised. This child was supplied with everything that he could think of that he would need, and more than that too. So things could go awry, but we cannot have a system that is producing criminals faster than remand yard could dispose of them through the judicial system. I'm just saying that we have to face this squarely. Yes, the police, and when they're blaming the teaching service, they're blaming the police. You are producing criminals in your house. Face the facts and tend to it. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Pinal. 222-8255. North Americans, 866-525-1099. You can send us a message via YouTube and Facebook. And, of course, on WhatsApp at 3181021. All right, taking your calls.
I think one of the things, too, that is, and because I'm Mr. Pinal talking about the police, but the police detection rate is low. So they ain't even filling up the prisons with the kind of numbers they should be filling them up with if you wanted to go down that road. Because obviously
the logic is so flawed, Funny.
Yeah,
the police not necessarily doing good because the remand full. Because the remand full because the court's not processing them fast enough. Okay?
But you know the difference between developed countries and emerging countries like ourselves, even though I know the OECD says we're developed, is the amount of regulation. Because when you go to developed countries, everything is regulated. Everything. Down to the toilet that you can put in your house is regulated. You can't just put up anything anywhere or do anything just because you feel you can. And all that contributes to the sense of organization or chaos or chaotic behavior in a society. So the more developed you become, the more regulated you become.
Well, regulation has two sides. There are two limbs: the actual regulation and the enforcement of the regulation.
Yeah, and they enforce.
And they enforce. We don't
And a lot of
necessarily
times
enforce.
they enforce that if you're in breach of this regulation, they're going to enforce it. But in a Trinidad and Tobago context, I mean, we have many examples where that does not happen. And people do whatever people feel to build a parlor in front of their house, they build a parlor in front of their house. And they start to sell kiss cake.
I don't think the judiciary takes enough responsibility for their role in where we are now. I really don't.
Well, that's a conversation.
I don't think they do. I think it's easy to blame the police, and the police have their culpability, yes.
Yes,
Easy to blame politicians, and politicians have their culpability, yes.
Yeah,
But
everybody
I don't think
there's
the
enough
judiciary
blame to
takes.
go around. There's enough blame to
I
go around.
don't think the judiciary likes to deflect, and it's this one fault and it's that one fault, when they are critical and central in processing in the criminal justice system. I just don't think they do. They take enough responsibility, and they have a lot of remit that they don't exercise. For example, as I said before, that officer yesterday, who is very passionate, she's really passionate about human trafficking, said they decided to expedite that case, and they did. So the option for expediting cases is there. And we talked about night court and this court and other societies have done to clear backlogs, and you just don't see it because guess what? They have nice life. It ain't really affecting them directly.
All right. Good morning, caller.
Yes, I go back say good morning again.
Morning, Mr. Patrick.
I just talk about laws and things. And partner called me from New York and asked him a question yesterday. He said there was a man in Trinidad building a booth and cussing the police, cussing the authority, cussing everybody. You kind of culture they live in, boy. Yes, I'm going on. Right? So there are regulations for things. And when some people break the regulations and the authorities come in the custom way, so what kind of country living in? Yeah, what I said? When the police come, you cost them. When the authorities come, you cost them. And it's threatening to carry them to court. But you breaking the law. You understand? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. That's the system we have. So people do what they want, parents do what they want, everybody do what they want, and everybody all right. Everybody all right. And thanks to the lawyer Richard Rabua saying everybody all right. I got it.
Yeah. And they can't, and you see, this society can't just work on people doing whatever they want because you're living in a space where you have to be governed by rules and regulations in terms of how we interact with each other, in terms of what your planning permissions are, what you can do, what you can't do, and even the state is culpable in that. And when I remember on Monday, not Monday, Tuesday, when I brought up the issue of the dump in Arima in Guanapo, that is rivaling the Northern Range. Rivaling the Northern Range in terms of garbage. And nobody sees, at least to me, nobody sees that to me as being a problem. Maybe there are people who see it as a problem and maybe it is being dealt with. I don't know. You don't have any information coming forward from the state machinery concerning it. But seriously, rivaling the Northern Range, it's one of the mountain peaks. How is that acceptable in a society that's serious? And we've been talking about different ways to deal with garbage for years. I'm talking about even under Patrick Manning and before Patrick Manning, there were discussions about how to deal with garbage, and we can't even implement that, 30, 40 years later? That's the difference. How many times we talk about stuff, little things. We talk about getting rid of the paper when you're coming into the airport. Big big hullabaloo. Oh, you wouldn't have to fill out anything anymore. Other countries have instituted it. Have we? No. It was talked about, what, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago? Remember the passport scanners where you don't have to go in no line? That they have these passport booths. That whatever happened to that?
Well, let me tell you something. Most people won't see it, but I passed upstairs when I was going to when I was in the airport last week, and you see that area. I'm glad you reminded me. You see that area when you going into duty free, the international departure section.
After they check your passport.
You notice there's a blocked off with some board there.
Yeah.
They're right there.
Huh?
Passport scanners. There are 2 rows of them, 4 thing each, right there. Blocked off. I'm glad you reminded me, because when I passed upstairs and I looked down, what is that there? Oh, those are the passport scanners they spoke about 3-4 years ago. They're right there installed. Right there. Blocked off with some board. I understand the subject of some legal matter.
Really?
This place, sweet, yes. I'm glad you reminded me, because I was to take a picture, but I don't think we're allowed to take pictures from up there. They're right there.
And those are just slight examples of talk versus action. RFID plates, license plates. That was about 2 budgets ago.
More than that.
And they said maybe more. And they said we were getting it before the end of the year. They were starting. I remember reading the article. They said they were starting. It was in September of a year. And they said it will take about a year or 2 to everybody to transfer. Not one person yet. There's too much inaction and too much lack of implementation of certain, and these are things that they put into the public domain that they're about to do. We're not digging up for this information, they gave it to us. And then it's not implemented.
Changing gears a bit. I saw Philip Alexander give an interview to I think it's the Guardian newspaper, and said he's left politics because of the lawsuits. But if you think you could say where you want more people, but it's unexpected or not. If you think you could say anything you want about everybody, whether it's the truth or not, and besmirch their character, do you think you're going to end up in problems?
Mm-hmm.
When you think you can say what you want, and that's what put it on the air, and this one put it on the air. That's why I'm always so careful about what you put on the air and accuracy.
Mm-hmm.
You don't just say things about people that you cannot substantiate, that could damage their character and their reputation. So Philip set out in the last 2 years or 3 years on his political career. He formed the PEP. And we asked him about it when we interviewed him about his past statements, which were some of which were very out there. And he said, yes, he did for me, but you already said them. And people and the court's going to hold you accountable. So he lost a call member.
Michaela Pandey.
He lost to Michaela Pandey. And afterward, it becomes unsustainable. Sorry?
Andrew Gabriel.
He lost Andrew Gabriel too. I didn't know.
Andrew Gabriel was $750,000. Colin Mimid was 525 and 0.98
in the country. You understand? And no amount of supporters or donations will make that sustainable.
Yeah. Let's grab this call. Good morning.
I think he lost to Dr. Rowley as well too.
Yeah, you keep running your mouth and saying things about people that you can't substantiate. And that's where, and I think he may have had a future in politics. He certainly was passionate about it. But you can't keep saying things about people that you can't substantiate because you hate.
One other thing, I don't know. I just tuned in. I don't know if all spoke about it. I heard I was going down a list of stuff. Remember the speed in cameras that you have gotten tickets? They were 6 months away from implementing it, just before COVID. They had one by the Bend there, by Aranguez. They had one by Hilton, and they said it was 6 months away from implementing speed and tickets from
The one by Hyatt.
6 camera. Yeah, by Hyatt there. And they had one by Aranguez. And it used to flash if you're going over equal 100 and take it with you 2 and maybe 2.5 years after. You still can't implement that. Right?
So right now they're becoming obsolete.
Yeah. In the airport, they had the passport scanners. They had about 4 of them many years ago, before pre-COVID, to scan when you enter. When they come back in the country, they had about 4 of them, and I see they're gone now. Just before
But the
immigration.
ones in the departure lounge, the self-check-in still there now. They're just off.
Yeah, which is
they're probably unplugged.
I'm sure they will lease. So I'm sure somebody's still paying money for it.
Yeah, taxpayers.
If you do a freedom of information, I'm sure they're paying money for it still, right? Just like the machine to for your vehicles for parking and whatnot. Money just seems to be spending in this country and squandering away, and then we self just be championing the cause. The country had no money, and the country had no money, and money spending every day and with things we have been not seeing, and we comfortable with that. I'm glad that you're this transparent as a politician, that you could see something and say something and bring it to our attention that the right is.
What is that down there? Oh, that is the scanners. Okay.
Right. Because when I travel, I see the place boarded up, and it's been boarded up.
Yeah, the little board up section there with the plyboard. You know, they love a plyboard.
Yeah,
right inside there. They love a plyboard.
Yeah.
Right. So it's before when you hear the next shout is because they're outdated. The software ain't good again, and they have to do away with that. And they have to upgrade, and they have to spend $10 million again to get a new one. Right? Just like the shot detectors, shot spotters, just like the vehicles with the radar. All this information has come out right here on all the station, so all they know that I'm talking the facts. Just like the 2 vehicles to scan thing that they paying how much $1 million a month for, right? And through the words of the commissioner himself, they have yielded no results, and we're still paying rent for it, right? I think it's $2 or $3 million a month, if not more. I think it's more than that, right? Information came out right here. Is millions of dollars being squandered every month. Every month. And if this government decides to spend it every month on one individual, we have no poverty in this country. We would have had no poverty in this country years ago. Right? And we self love to champion the equity cause. We country no money. We will do that. The country no money, because we keep hearing that. And I always say that, I know, Paul, you don't like to hear it. Like an abused wife, abused woman, making excuse for when the husband beat me.
Oh my God, Rena Jennings said she's gone. No uplifting conversation here, always negativity. It's sunny outside, the rain stopped, and the grass green.
All right, thank you.
Paul, take it easy.
All right. Let's grab another call before we wrap up. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
I have a question for Mr. Raghubar Singh. I hope he can help me.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
My question is, I was brought before the court for defamation of character. The judge ordered me to pay $1 million. However, I have no property and I have no money in the bank. How would this matter be completed or determined?
They will the person you owe the money or who has the judgment against you will seek a judgment summons to enforce the judgment, and they will start to look at what exactly do you have that they can put liens on. And they will look at all of that, because sometimes people generally have something. People generally will have something because it's unlikely that you would have just had money with nothing, but it will still be a debt owed, and it will be accruing. So it could be pretty damaging to your credit, pretty damaging to a lot of any money you earn could be liened, and once they get wind of it and stuff like that. So there are different ways in terms of how they will activate that judgment.
Thank you.
But
very
don't
much.
think that you could just have it and go through life normally just like that.
Okay, thanks a lot for your information.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sunbright. Sunbright just put something up that I found was very interesting. So he said he's listening from Grenada, or she's listening from Grenada, and they have a Ministry of Implementation. They call it the Get It Done Ministry. And I just Googled it, and it's, yes, the Ministry of Mobilization, Implementation, and Transformation, Government of Grenada.
Yep. And somebody sent me something saying
That's
that
a good idea.
Barbados is now 100% digital in terms of the airport.
That's interesting. Ministry of Implementation and Mobilization.
Interesting.
Maybe they are the same problems we had. But then, doesn't Grenada have a young prime minister now?
Yeah, what's
Or
his name?
a younger prime minister? Don't they?
I'm not sure.
PM Grenada.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, Dicon or Dickon Mitchell. Since 2022. Yeah, he's a younger person. Yeah. Maybe that's why. 7:58.
All right.
You'll have a wonderful day. Be safe. It's raining today, and God willing, we'll see you tomorrow. Sun is shining, grass is growing, and the moon is still in the sky. Some positivity for you there.
All right, so of course, just reminding you that Bacchanal, Bubble, and Bad Behavior is on this weekend, Saturday and Sunday at SAPA. Of course, it's our final two shows for 2023. Tickets available at the SAPA box office from 12 noon to 6 p.m. daily. And of course, tickets available at K Squared Fashions at C3 Center and K Squared Fashions at Gulf City, Friends of Marabella by the Roundabout, and of course, Brentwood Mall in Chaconas, Creme Fresh. You can also pay online. You could just RSRR Productions Theater on Facebook and Instagram for more information concerning that. We're looking forward to it. You should not miss this play. It is hilarious. It is a great de-stressor for this weekend. We're so looking forward to it. Have a fantastic day, whatever you do. The weekend the weekend begins tonight, people, in the second after midnight. Have a fantastic day. And remember to smile and laugh. It's great for your health.
All right, Rich.